What is good, YouTube, and welcome back to a brand new video. So as we all know, the Minnesota Timberwolves and New York Knicks made a trade right before the season started, and it looks like the Timberwolves are already ready to get rid of Julius Randle ahead of the trade deadline, as rumors are spiraling around, I should say, that they want to trade Julius Randle at the trade deadline for better fits alongside Gobert and Anthony Edwards. And since all of our videos lately have been about the trade deadline, let's continue to do that. And today we're going to try to trade Julius Randle for what the Timberwolves want. We'll see if we can accomplish that. We're going to simulate to the trade deadline and see what we can get for Julius Randle to see if we can find better fits going forward for the Timberwolves. Before we get into today's video, make sure you guys drop a like on this one and subscribe if you're new to this channel. As always, greatly appreciated. So right now, this team finds itself 23 and 21 on the season. So I'm not too surprised that this is obviously a subject at hand, because I think a lot of people questioned the idea of trading Karl Anthony Towns right after the season they had just had. And they did it anyway. They knew they needed financial flexibility going forward because of the new CBA, and they decided to trade Karl Anthony Towns. Randle's contract has a player option that he will more than likely accept, if I had to guess. And the Timberwolves are going to try to, or they're going to attempt to trade him at the deadline. So that is what we're going to try to do. Without further ado, let's just skip to the trade deadline and let's see if we can find a fit with 2K's beloved trade finder. And we'll see if we can make something happen for the Timberwolves to where we can find better fits for their roster outside of Julius Randle. So the way we're going to start this is we're simply going to just throw Julius Randle in the trade finder, like I said, and we'll see if we like anything. If we don't like anything, then we'll try to build our own trade. I think I have a couple of ideas in my head, but I would love to see 2K give me an idea in front of me, because then that would just be the easiest way to do this. So Randle, thrown in the trade finder. Minnesota wants to find a better fit with their roster. First and foremost, Paul George for Randle, I don't think would ever happen, so we can go ahead and skip that one. Vucevic for... Okay, this one's interesting. We'd be trading a Pistons lottery-protected pick that is from the Cat trade. So that's interesting, I won't lie to you, but I don't think Vucevic is exactly what we're looking for, but it definitely is intriguing. I think doing something with Chicago could be something to be talked about. Norman Powell and Terrence Mann, interesting. I'm not sure the Clippers would want to do that, though. Capella, ooh, this one's interesting. Capella is interesting just because, well, at the same time, we don't really need a center per se. Bam Adebayo, Miles Bridges, John Collins. The Kings would never do that, obviously. OG Anunoby, Mitchell Robinson. The Knicks aren't doing that either. They don't want Julius Randle back. Ben Simmons. I mean, like, you could just dump Randle's contract entirely, but then you're wasting a season. You'd be wasting Julius Randle's talent. Yeah, I don't think you'd do that if you're Minnesota. Denver probably isn't doing that. Indiana's not doing that. New Orleans, they might do this, but I don't think this helps the Timberwolves enough. Jalen Duren, Detroit. I mean, it's interesting, but again, that's not really the position we're looking for. Fred VanVleet, Chris Paul, Grayson Allen, and Nurkic. No. And then Isaiah Hartenstein and the Thunder aren't doing that. Jeremy Grant and the Blazers aren't doing that. Okay. So to me, Chicago is kind of my favorite idea. Atlanta definitely kind of sparked some ideas in my head as well. So I think Atlanta and Chicago are the two teams we're going to talk to about Randle. Like, Atlanta could be intriguing. Let's see where they're at right now, based off the few games we just simulated for the... so the Atlanta is 26 and 26 on the dot. So I can see them maybe wanting Randle to pair with Trae Young, but obviously Jalen Johnson's doing his thing, so maybe they don't really care about adding Randle. So let's just talk to Chicago. Like, is there a world where Minnesota could get Zach LaVine for Randle? Could that happen? Because what you could say for Chicago, although LaVine's having a good season, but his market seems to be very not there, right? Like, Chicago has been wanting to trade him and it just hasn't been there. Could there be a world where, I mean, you also could maybe get Patrick Williams if you're Minnesota potentially somehow, like compare, you know, like add Lonzo and Patrick Williams together. That could be interesting, because then Chicago could go off Patrick Williams' contract entirely. So basically what I was thinking is Chicago could get off some salary. Like, yeah, they'll have Randle's player option next year, but they won't have to worry about anything else going forward. So I'm either thinking LaVine here, or I'm thinking Patrick Williams and Lonzo. And I think I'm going to do the Lonzo and Patrick Williams one just because I feel like that could really work. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to throw Lonzo Ball with Patrick Williams, and we'll throw Julius Randle in here. These will be two players that would work out pretty well, I think. So Randle, Patrick Williams for Lonzo Ball. I don't think the salary matches perfectly, which is interesting. We must have a trade exception, don't we? No. Do we have an exception? We do. Worth $8 million. That's why that's working in 2K's hypothetical theory. Okay. Is there anybody we could trade to them? I mean, we have DiVincenzo, Dillingham. Obviously not trading Dillingham, so no. Can't really do that. So Patrick Williams, Alonzo Ball. And let's say we trade them the lottery protected Pistons pick as well. That's like heavily protected for a while, I think. The Randle and a protected Pistons pick for Williams and Lonzo Ball. What do you say? They say no. What if we get to like a couple seconds in the trade too? And that is a done deal. So something along the lines of that where Minnesota could dump Randle to Chicago and Chicago get out some salary. I think that could actually make some sense. Not the most perfect trade that we just did. There is better ways to make it work with the CBA. But with 2K, you know, reading exceptions as something you could take in, which I don't think you can actually do in real life. We made it happen. So 30 and 21, and now we have to look to kind of see how we do this rotation now. So McDaniels would go down at a 78 overall, which is unfortunate. So I guess we'll leave Patrick Williams, although he would go up to a 78. So I guess it doesn't change too much. So Lonzo Ball becomes an interesting piece going forward, but Conley, Anthony Edwards, McDaniels, Naz Reid, Gobert, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Lonzo Ball, DiVincenzo, Patrick Williams. And that would leave Rob Dillingham out of the rotation right now, which I'd actually like to get him some minutes, but there's just so many guards off the bench right now. But I like it. And then Lonzo Ball becomes an interesting player, probably to resign because Mike Conley would more than likely retire if I had to guess. But Dillingham will get some minutes. So a lot of guards on the bench right now. But I think that could be an interesting idea for Minnesota to somehow dump Randle to Chicago, either for LaVine or for a couple pieces. I actually think that could make some sense. So that being said, that is the trade we have done. And I'll see you guys at the end of year one after we just traded away Julius Randle. So Shea wins MVP, Alex Sarr is your Rookie of the Year, Peyton Pritchard's your 6th man, Wembanyama's Defensive Player, and Amon's your Most Improved, and Trey's your Clutch Player, and Mark is your Coach of the Year for the Thunder at 67 and 15. Ethan White is your Executive, aka me. You know, I was the one that made the trade at the deadline. Finished 54 and 28. Here's your All-NBA first team, All-NBA second, and did I not see Anthony Edwards on here? A little flabbergasted by that, but that will change as soon as next season. Gobert makes it, though. Second seed in the Western Conference, so we definitely climbed up the standings quite a bit, which I'm not too surprised. Edwards wasn't on one of those teams, right? I'm not tripping. I'm pretty sure he wasn't. All-NBA team, 20, or maybe I just didn't see his name. Wait, no, because this is 2025. So, yeah, he wasn't there, which is interesting, okay? Well, let's take a look at the player stats. So, 29 from Anthony Edwards, 15 from Naz Reid, 10 from Gobert, 10 from DiVincenzo, 10 from McDaniels, 9 from Mike Conley, and 9 from Alexander Walker, and 9 from Patrick Williams. Now, I won't lie to you guys. I think going forward, we probably need to get another star next to Edwards because there just isn't enough scoring. Like, LaVine, I think, could have been... Like, Randle was that for us, obviously, but we traded him to Chicago. So, LaVine probably would have been a really good piece to add because you would have gotten your, 20 points per game from LaVine to take some pressure off of Anthony Edwards, but nothing to do about it now. We are going to be playing the Spurs in round 1. So, Wemby and the Spurs in round 1. The France connection going at it, obviously. Gobert versus Wemby should be fun. So let's kind of see how this goes. So I'm going to current round against San Antonio, and we will... All right, well, we lost in 7 games while the Knicks are in the second round. So that is not a great feeling. But like I said, I do think we need to add a second star. Dallas goes on and win it all. They beat the Celtics in 6, so they get revenge. Mike Conley does retire, so that makes Lonzo Ball a little bit more important to resign because he could be Dillingham's backup going forward, which I'm fine with. And yeah, so losing in round 1 was not on my bingo card. I won't lie to you, but not much I can do about it. So Philly gets number 1. And then our pick, I believe, is headed elsewhere, if I'm not mistaken. So the Jazz have our selection from Gobert trade. And then Chris Finch. Do we fire him based off what just happened? Like, is there a good replacement, though, is the question. There's Will Hardy, but yeah, not really a good replacement. So I guess we'll hang on to Chris Finch for now. But count your days, man. If we fail next year, too, something's got to change. So Gobert, McDaniels, Naz Reid will have to be re-signed. Lonzo will have to be re-signed. Nickeil Alexander-Walker have to be re-signed. There's going to be quite a bit of re-signings here for sure. Let's just head... Actually, you know what? It may not be necessary to trade for a second star. Dillingham might become that second scorer for us as long as we give him the shot tendency to succeed in that role. But I definitely think we can maybe count on him to step up for us. So maybe that's the game plan. I guess we'll find out. Let's go to player options since we don't have a draft pick. And we have Naz Reid declining. Josh Minott will accept. And then obviously, like I said, there is going to be definitely like 3 very key free agents this offseason for us to resign. So Naz Reid is one, Nickeil Alexander-Walker is the other one, and I thought we'd have the bird rights on Lonzo too, but maybe we don't. Although he's not asking for much money anyway, so that shouldn't be a problem to get him back regardless. So I'm going to go ahead and give him a 3-year deal because I do like Lonzo as a backup going forward. But Naz Reid, obviously, if you're Minnesota, he's like a big part of what they do. So yeah, you're going to re-sign him. And then Alexander Walker, definitely think I want to re-sign him too. So all three of those guys should be re-signed, which is a good start to the offseason. And we have a little bit of money left over to spend on anybody else if we wanted to. But let's take a look to see. So DiVincenzo's listed at point guard right now. Lonzo Dillingham. So DiVincenzo might be expendable. Not going to lie to you. So, wow, if you move him to shooting guard, he goes down. I find that quite surprising. Interesting. Okay, so DiVincenzo might be a piece we trade this offseason. Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Edwards as a shooting guard rotation is fine by me. McDaniels, Josh Midnight, Patch Williams. And I think, to me, if we can find a way to upgrade the power forward spot, that's what I want to do. I like Patrick Williams, but we could also maybe find a better power forward. So I don't know if we'll be able to, or even a better small forward, because McDaniels could slide down to the 4, in my opinion. And then Rudy Gobert might eventually be moved on from as well, just because he does regress as you go on. But we'll figure that out in due time. I don't think we need to trade Gobert just yet. So I'm going to see if we can find a way to flip DiVincenzo and maybe another piece for like another forward here. Kind of have my target if I can find a way to match DeAndre Hunter's salary, but I think he'd be perfect. I said I kind of needed a second scorer, but I think Rob Dillingham is going to step up in that role. Michael Porter makes a little too much money. Middleton, no thank you. John Collins, a free agent. Cam Johnson is intriguing as well. But I definitely, and he's probably a little bit cheaper than DeAndre Hunter as well, so I'll definitely keep my attention on him. But they're about making the same money. So let's see if we can even get to DeAndre Hunter's salary. I don't even know if we'll be able to. So let's first and foremost throw Dante DiVincenzo in here. We need $8 million more involved. So Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Lonzo Ball, there's Terrence Shannon. Okay, so we'd have to maybe throw these like last 3 guys down here in there, which I think we might get there, hopefully. Yes, we do. DiVincenzo, Leonard Miller, Terrence Shannon, Josh Minott for DeAndre Hunter. I think I'm cool with it. It does suck to trade these 3 guys at the bottom of the rotation, but at the end of the day, we're getting a really good forward. I definitely think Atlanta would accept this, and actually they do not. I'm quite surprised by that. A second and another second doesn't get this done? Wowza. Wow, I'm a little shocked, like I said. What about this first? Okay, so we get DeAndre Hunter. Don't love trading a first there, but I think Hunter fits extremely well with what we wanted right now, and that gives us kind of a full rotation. So a little bit of expensive pull there, but like I said, I'm okay with it. We're going to move Patrick Williams to small forward, and we'll move McDaniels down to the 4. He goes down to a 78 overall, which is quite annoying, but I'm going to rock with this. So McDaniels is going to be the 4. It's going to be Lonzo, Dillingham, Anthony Edwards, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Hunter, Patrick Williams, McDaniels, Gobert, and Naz Reid. So let's go to player progression. Let's see what this is looking like. So Clark is back, and you'll have Edwards up to a 94. Hunter up to an 84. Gobert, as I mentioned, was going to regress. Dillingham's up to an 80, so he's going to start this year. We're going to mess with his shot tendency as well. McDaniels went down 1. Alonzo Ball and Naz Reid went down 2, which is a little disappointing. But that all being said, we're going to go look into the rotation and see if year 2 can be the year we bring a trophy to Minnesota. So here is the rotation going into year 2, as 2K has us as the 5th power ranking, which makes a lot of sense to me. So here is your shot tendencies. So Anthony Edwards is a 99, and as you can see, everybody else's shot tendency is pretty much down. Move Hunter's up to a 60. McDaniels can go up to a 60 as well. Lonzo's a 50 is fine. Naz Reid, let's go 70 for him. And then Dillingham is the one where I want him to shoot quite a bit, because we need a second guy to take some pressure off Anthony Edwards. I'm hoping Robert Dillingham can become that. So that's what we'll rock with there. And here is your rotation. So Rob Dillingham, Anthony Edwards, DeAndre Hunter, McDaniels, Gobert, Patch Williams, Naz Reid, Lonzo Ball, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Eventually, Gobert is going to have to be replaced as well. His regression is just going to be too much to overcome. But I think this season we'll rock with them. But as soon as the offseason hits, there's a good chance that we may be calling teams around for Gobert, or if they want Gobert services, because we're going to need a new center. Now, so far this season's off not to the greatest start, which I'm surprised by, because I feel like Minnesota is always successful. But until I take them over, I guess there is a world where this team isn't successful. But we better make the playoffs. We better go on a run here in just a second, because I'm not missing the playoffs with Timberwolves and Anthony Edwards. That doesn't sit well with me right now. Luka Doncic is your MVP. Cooper Flagg is your Rookie of the Year in Philadelphia, which is very interesting to see. I don't often see Flagg get drafted the same Sixers in the simulation, but kind of fun to think about. Here's your Coach of the Year and Executive of the Year. We're not on the All-NBA teams just yet, but here we are. Anthony Edwards makes it this time around, so that's nice to see. So All-NBA team 2026. So yeah, he did not make it in 2025, which I was a little surprised by that. But hey, he's here, All-NBA first team this time, which is good. Dillingham took some pressure off of him, but not as much as I would have wanted it to be. Does Gobert stay making all defense? No all defensive team for Gobert this time. Probably have to move on from him if I had to guess, but we are the 5th seed in the Western Conference. So if we take a look at the player stats, yeah, 32.5 from Anthony Edwards, but like I said, only 16 from Rob Dillingham. So I do think another score could be necessary this offseason for sure if things don't work out this year, which there's a good chance they won't, because I don't think this team was quite good enough, which sucks because obviously we're just wasting Anthony Edwards' time, but we're gonna make it happen, guys. We're gonna make it happen. We'll win a championship with Anthony Edwards and Timberwolves before this video is all said and done. So LA in round 1, which they have a older Kawhi and an older James Harden, so I'm expecting to win this series. So let's see if we do that, and we will sweep them. So that's a good start. But now we draw Dallas, which clearly is the team in the West to beat. OKC, you would say that about that as well. So like it's these 4 teams to me, like these 3 teams that we have to deal with for the rest of the video. So let's give Dallas a little bit of respect and go game by game here. So game 1 does go to us, beat them by 4. They even it up though. Game 3 goes to them, and game 4 will probably go to them as well. And there it is. So we're gonna get, well, wait a minute. Maybe we force a game 7. We just got a simcast game 6, and maybe we're on our way to a game 7, and who knows who wins there. So it looks like we might be forcing a game 7 as we are blowing the Mavericks off our court. So the Mavericks did not come to play in game 6. It looks like they were ready for a game 7. So here we go in a game 7 as we start off hot again. We outscore them quite a bit in the first quarter, but they could definitely return the favor in one of these quarters. Just don't want to be the 4th. That's the main important one, obviously. And we're going to beat the Mavericks in 7. So 32-8 from Anthony Edwards. And now I draw the other testament, which is the Thunder, which I guess it's not good. It's not the Spurs because the Spurs did beat us last year. So the Thunder don't have like any like crazy prospects with what they already have. So we might have a chance as well. So game 1 goes to us. Good start. Game 2, they even it up. Game 3, 2-1. Game 4, 2-2. Game 5 goes to us. Do we win game 6? Yes, we do. We're in the finals, and we get to play Karl Anthony Towns, which is quite a fun thing to think about. So, Cat versus Anthony Edwards. Obviously, Timberwolves traded away Cat, so he's going to feel disrespected in a way. Rudy Gobert is still here, so hopefully we can lock up Karl Anthony Towns as we lose game 1. We do win game 2, and I think both games started in New York, so that is good to get one on their home floor. We win on our floor. Can we win the next one? Yes, we can. And are we going to beat the Knicks? Game 6 goes to us, guys. So we won a championship in year number 2. Like I said, it's not hard to do. You're playing with Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves. But I'm not going to end it on that. I think we try to go back-to-back. Edwards was phenomenal in the finals, which is great. But there were some more moves I had in mind. I think Gobert is going to have to be the first one because we just kind of know what's coming. The Knicks have the number 1 overall pick, and then the Thunder via the Rockets. Is that really supposed to be the case? I don't think it is. Yeah, like 4 out of the 5 of these picks are freaking wrong. Like the Bulls pick is wrong too. Yeah, it's kind of crazy how wrong these picks are. Not even gonna lie to you. Like the Knicks are not supposed to have the number 1 overall pick at all. The Bulls aren't supposed to have the Blazers pick. The Thunder, I don't think, are supposed to have the Utah's pick, and I don't know if the Thunder are supposed to have the Rockets pick either. That sounds a little interesting to say the least, but our pick is going to Cleveland. That is correct. I can confirm that. But Chris Finch, I'm glad we didn't fire you because you bounced back and we won a championship. So before draft night, I'm going to go fix all those picks just because I don't want to deal with one of those teams with a crazy prospect. We ran into the Thunder and the Knicks in the playoffs, so let's make sure they don't have those picks they're not supposed to. So after we fixed all those picks, I told you guys that we were going to move on from Rudy Gobert. And Memphis has always had a center problem, so maybe they feel like they can get the best out of Gobert in his final seasons coming up. But I just know what this man is about to regress to. So we're going to send him over to Memphis for a top-tier protected first-round pick and just dump his contract entirely over to the Grizzlies. So they took his contract entirely, which gives us a little bit of a center issue. And I don't know how much money that's going to open up for us, but I don't know if we have like a max salary slot or anything. I don't think we will. But it would be useful if we did, so we could just sign a center, but we'll see. Rob Dillingham, we could accept, and then Jalen Clark's a free agent. Now, I don't think we have any important free agents to worry about, so that could be, yeah, so no free agents to worry about. But do we have cap space? I don't know that we do. I can't sit here and say we do. It doesn't look like we do, unfortunately. I don't think there's any, like, there's a trade exception, which I don't know if that really does anything, so let's see what we can sign. So, yeah, not really a good center that we can sign. So, that's going to be kind of unfortunate. Mogbo is, I don't know. So, like, Naz Reid would probably be our starting center right now, which isn't the greatest feeling in the world. But let's see what else we got. So, maybe trading Gobert for just a couple picks or for a pick was not the best idea. But I guess I didn't think that far ahead. I'm an idiot for that. That is my mistake. So I already did it. Nothing I can do about it now. So Naz Reid, I don't mind Naz Reid being the starting center, but obviously it's not the most ideal thing in the world. So I think what we have to do is we have to go. Well, we can also use this trade exception as well. We can keep that in mind. So I'm going to keep the trade exception open, but we're also going to go to day 12 of free agency, and we're going to see if there's a center that we can steal on the last day that could be like really, would be a really good addition, because there might be an option there, maybe, because you can sometimes convince players. So like Duran, we're not going to get to sign for $5 million, so we can forget that idea. Like James Wiseman, Isaiah Jackson, Zach Collins, Nick Richards. Like Nick Richards as a starter, I don't think is the worst thing in the world. Like obviously Phoenix sees him as a starter right now. So I'm going to go ahead. Oh, we declined it. Damn, that would have been nice. Day'Ron Sharpe, I guess, is interesting too. He also declines my offer. Jalen Williams is probably going to ask for too much. So yeah, to me, I think we turn our attention to this trade exception, because clearly we're obviously not going to be able to get any of these guys that are sitting here because they're just wanting too much money, and we sold the bag. And we do have a couple picks that we can trade away, so that's probably what we'll have to do. All right, I think I found the best possible center we could go after, and I think it's going to be Jakob Poeltl. So he's going to fit into the trade exception. I'm going to offer 2 first and see what they say. They want DeAndre Hunter. They'll give me Sadiq Bey. Yeah, that's not going to happen. So I'll throw you seconds, DeAndre Hunter, and Quickly. Like Quickly's cool and all, but I'd really like to keep DeAndre Hunter out of this trade if possible, and they're not going to allow that to happen. So the Jakob Poeltl might be a little too expensive as well. I think trading 3 firsts is a little rich, although I like Jakob Poeltl. Don't know if I can get there for 3 firsts. So Jakob Poeltl might have to go back to that idea. Hartenstein maybe is interesting too. I don't know if Detroit would trade him for this. They say no, and then I don't have it yet, so I can't really make that happen either. No Hartenstein, but that would have been awesome to grab him. You do have Missy down here. Miles Turner, I guess. I mean, it might have to, or Nicholas Claxton. Claxton might also be okay too, or you're gonna have Lively or Gafford. So I guess we can try for Mr. Nick Claxton. I think they'd probably accept this if I had to guess, and no, they do not. Wow, we're not gonna get anybody, it looks like. I guess the next option is Miles Turner off the Pacers. Would they do it? And no, they want DeAndre Hunter. They'll give me Hugo, which Hugo just isn't as good right now. So Miles Turner, no thank you. Nobody wants to do the trade with the trade exception being involved. Porzingis, probably not going to happen. And they're not interested. So no, can't do that one either. We're just going to... Zubac. I mean, Zubac probably could be got. And I think that might have to be our last resort, because we've tried pretty much everything else. So Kongwu, Bio, that's not going to fit into our trade exception. Kessler would fit. The bonus wouldn't fit. Cat, obviously, we can't get. Okay, so I think we're going to go to Zubac then, man. We've tried for every other center. Now, 3 firsts is a little too crazy for my liking. I'd do 1 first in a couple seconds. 2 firsts, I'd get there if needed. But, yeah, let's just try the 2 first. Like, does trade exceptions make trades harder to make? I don't know. Maybe let's just, I don't know. Right now, this isn't working. So we're going to go to player progression, and we're going to have no center right now. And let's try this again. So I wish you could throw an exception in the trade finder, but you can't. So let's just say we threw 2 firsts in there alone. Like, does I don't think the exception is going to pop up, right? Like with center. No, it's not. So I guess exception isn't really going to work here, man. So we might be a little screwed. But I guess I'm going to try this again. So let's go to the Clippers again and see if Zubac is available. No. For a second. No. So no Zubac. We're going to just do this all over again. Nick Claxton. Come on. Just come to... Nope. All right, you know what, guys? We're going to the deadline with this. There's not much else we can really do, because clearly no one wants to accept anything we're trying to offer for a center. So maybe at the deadline, things will be different, and it'll be easier to trade for one. So we're at the trade deadline, and we are going to attempt to try this again. So I'm going to go for Isaiah Hartenstein off the Pistons to see if they would do this. So once again, we're going to throw some pick compensation in here and throw our exception in here. We're just going to go kind of across the board to see if anybody would do this. So Hartenstein is my favorite target by far, and they say no. I would throw as many seconds as possible at you. Still not going to happen. So Hartenstein may not be gettable off Detroit, but that was definitely worth a shot. I will go to the Raptors for Jakob Poeltl now. I still want to get a center in this building. So Jakob Poeltl, what do you say? Toronto. Man, I didn't realize making trades with exceptions was that much harder. Is it really? It seems to be so far. The Nets had a couple guys, so I guess we're going to go talk to the Nets about Nick Claxton. Would they do it? And we finally got ourselves a center. It only took forever to make it happen, but we did. So Claxton is a brand new 5-man. That was a little bit harder than I thought it would be, but hey, we've ultimately did it. 38-14 on the season right now. Here are your stats so far. So Dillingham's up to 17. Nas Reed was averaging 16 as a starter, but he's now going to hit the bench with Claxton being a starter. So I'll see you guys at the end of season number 3. The team is doing really good right now. So, I mean, we didn't have to make a trade for a big man, but I still thought it was necessary. So we'll see how the season finishes out. Hopefully it finishes well and we go back to back. So another good season as Chris Finch is your coach of the year and executive is going to Ethan White the third again. So Anthony Edwards, all NBA first team. Love to see it. And here's your all defensive first team and all defensive second team, all rookie first team and all rookie second team. So we are the first seed in the Western Conference. As I told you guys, things were going extremely well. And they continue to be that way. So 14 points from Patrick Williams, 14 from Nas Reed, 12 from DeAndre Hunter. Patrick Williams is developing to an 84 overall for us. Dillingham's up to an 83. So the team has developed extremely well around Anthony Edwards as we've traded quite a few pieces off. But we draw Houston in round 1, which is never going to be an easy matchup. But here goes nothing. Somebody come around and we beat them in 5. It's a little bit easier than I thought it would be. And look at that. Neither Dallas or OKC is going to be a problem in round 2. But we do have the Spurs, which is a little unfortunate, as they have Bradley Beal playing the small forward spot. So that's going to be a little troublesome for them, but their defense will still be good with Wemby, obviously. And we're going to be up 3-2, and we're going to a game 7 with Wemby and the Spurs. So looks like we need to fix the minutes a little bit, so we'll do that. And let's see if we can win game 7 at home and go to the conference finals back-to-back years. San Antonio's giving us some problems here, man. We may lose, and we're going to lose. Wow. Minnesota, or Victor Wembanyama is going to make it happen for them. Unless if we get back in this game, which I don't think we will, it looks like. I mean, I could try to get back in this game, but you guys kind of already know how it is with me in 2K. It's not very good. But the one thing I will say is we already won a championship in this video. So at the end of the day, I almost backcourt violation. That would have been a great way to start this gameplay. Yeah, there we go. 101 to 111. So we cut the lead down to 10. But yeah, I think I almost committed a backcourt violation literally as I inbounded the ball. So that was nice. 26 points in the night for Mr. Anthony Edwards. We got Stephon Castle. Gonna hand it down to Mr. Bradley Beal. I'm leaving Vassell wide open because I'm stuck at defense. 113 and 101. All right. Not great, but let's hand this off to Lonzo Ball. Let's actually go to Anthony Edwards here. Edwards is so quick, man. Holy moly. Give me a screen, Claxton. Let me see if I can knock down a 3. So look, that felt like a good release. I was going to say I'll just take the putback, but I forgot we have Wembanyama guarding the rim down here. So probably shouldn't have, but Patrick Williams wide open and we still can't. Oh, it went in. Okay. 113 and 104. Cut it down to 9. We're not dead yet. We are not dead yet. I'm balling right now. We're going to play some pressure defense. They don't like it. Are they going to commit an 8-second violation? No, they don't. But let's get back on defense. Lonzo Ball guards Stephon Castle. My defense is insanely bad, but we do get a stop somehow. They settle for a mid-ranger. I think I might just take the 2 here if I can get down there. Oh, gosh. Oh, it went in. 113 and 106. All right. Well, Edwards, I will say if I was playing with anybody else, I don't think that would have went in, but Edwards is a dog, and his overall is really good in 2K, so I've just been bullying them as they go down on the rim. They need to get the ball to Wemby, bro. They haven't done that yet, but I'm not complaining. So Boozer is going to take it to the rim. We're there. They're going to get a layup, though. 115. I just realized they have Cameron Boozer, by the way. I totally ignored that earlier. Edwards better be out here. He is. Okay, so Anthony Edwards. I like the 5 that we have on the floor right now. I really do. So give me a wide open shot. DeAndre Hunter. They close out pretty well. I'm not going to shoot a layup with Patrick Williams. Dillingham. Man, we're wasting a bunch of clock right now. I got to go to Nas Reed on the perimeter. Give me a 3. It doesn't go in. Damn. If we'd have hit that, that would have made this game very interesting. But Nolan Traore is going to get the rebound. He's going to take this, and he's going to bully me to the basket. We play good defense, and we get a stop. So we got to hit this transition 3 with Anthony Edwards, though. I think that's the only chance. And I literally step over the 3-point line on accident. I still miss it regardless. And that one is going to be slightly early. So unfortunately, guys, that's going to be how this one ends, man. We're not going to win a championship with Minnesota, or at least back-to-back, I should say, because we did win one already. But man, we put a oh, yeah, that's a layup. That's free for the Spurs there. No one was guarding Wemby at that moment. I just need to hit a 3 with Edwards, man. I guess, didn't I already, wait. No, I hit one with Patrick Williams earlier. Can I get a 3 in there? There we go. 117 to 109. Well, I couldn't have done that a second ago. But all right, now they're going to play the foul game if I had to guess. Or no, I guess we're not fouling yet. It's an 8-point game. Noah Troyer has a, ooh, he's going to pop a 3? That is dagger. If I've ever seen a dagger, that's a dagger if I've ever seen one. So that is going to be ball game, but we'll hoist up one more 3 for Edwards. Why not? And that's going to be it, guys. So the Spurs are going to go on to win it. I guess we'll go see who wins the championship really quickly, and then we can end it on that note. So shout out to Wemby and the Spurs for eliminating us in round 2. It was not meant to be for back-to-back years, but we're going to have Atlanta and San Antonio, and it is going to be the Hawks beating the Spurs regardless of the trade that those two teams made. What do the Hawks have right now? Let's see. Fox is there. Reece Shea, Jalen Johnson, Okongwu, Robert Williams. Very interesting. All right, guys. Well, it does suck to lose to a team that's starting Bradley Beal at the 3, but when you have Wemby, it's, you know, it's not impossible for that to happen. So, thank y'all for watching. I'll see you on the next video. This is Crushables. I'm saying peace. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you click here to watch another video that I know you'll love.